Hey everyone, it's Frederick Kramer here, and in today's video I'm going to show you something that might seem extremely boring, but it's going to get you to 7 figures twice as fast. And the reason for that is basically, obviously in order to get to 7 figures there's a certain amount of actions that you need to take. And in this video I'm going to show you how to organize these actions and to make sure that every single thing that you need to do takes as little time away from your day as possible, and basically how to put everything together, make sure that you really have a structured plan that's going to get you there a lot sooner than it would be when you didn't plan it, because everything that you plan is going to work more to what you actually want than when you don't plan it, because you're just not consciously thinking of how you want things to be. And in today's video I'm just going to quickly show you how I'm doing this for myself, how I'm going to do this in 2026, and especially when it transitions into the new year, will make a lot of sense for you obviously to get started with that and make sure that you can probably accomplish in 2026 what you usually accomplish in 2026 and 2027 combined. So let's get into it. So probably everyone knows this warm-up calendar by now from Sam Ovens originally, now from Charlie Morgan and a lot of other people. For everyone that doesn't know it yet, this calendar is basically a combination of obviously this is a year in formatted into a Google spreadsheet, but this calendar combines a very macro overview where you don't really you see the days obviously, and you see the projects that you've planned. And by the way, I censored them here so that you don't actually see what I'm exactly planning, but it combines this basically with smaller micro schedules basically, and you can basically switch from a dashboard where you see all the days and basically all the projects that you're planning with certain goals you might have or key tasks that you're working on, which could be like build an appointment booking system, get it in KPI, build a sales process that can get you in KPI, whatever, sign first 5 clients, whatever your goals are exactly. And you can just put these keys here and just basically organize them in the days, and then you can get into the micro where you can see, okay, what exactly am I going to do? What are my more micro tasks? What are my notes? What are my main objectives for this month? And you can just basically write down all this stuff here. And if I was to plan a certain week, for example, so obviously you know what your projects are, so you just insert your projects, whatever they are here. And in case you don't know what your projects are, it's basically, or how to, obviously you know what to do, but in what order to do that optimally. Most likely the thing, there's going to be usually one task in your business, especially when you're running for some time, that's going to be most effective for you, or that has the highest leverage in you scaling. Most of the time it's actually building an appointment booking system, especially when you're starting out. At my point right now it's building a sales system. And for a lot of other people, especially the gurus, the best thing that they should be doing is working on the actual product and making sure that they actually get great results for their clients and everything like that. And the way that you know what the best thing is obviously if you don't have sales but appointments, then sales system is going to be the most important part. If you don't have appointments and nothing else, then building an appointment system is the most important part. And if you have sales and appointments but no crazy case studies, then probably working on your service delivery, value delivery system is going to be the most important part. And when you have multiple things at once, then probably just the one where you see the biggest bottleneck. So for example, let's say you have a 5% appointment booking rate, but it's just a 5% sales conversion rate, and you have a really low refund rate, so your clients are happy and you're getting a lot of appointments, but for some reason you're so trash at sales that you need 20 appointments to get one client, 20 appointments where the people show up to get a client, then obviously that's the bottleneck, and then you know what you should be working on. And honestly, you should be doing that until the bottleneck is gone. And obviously there are some other maintenance things, obviously you should be doing some work for your clients at the same time and everything like that. So it's a bit more complicated, and that's exactly what this calendar is for, to make sure that you can focus on the most important things but still have the maintenance stuff going basically. So let's say for example we were to plan a random week in April, and I'm going to use my Google Calendar for the next 4 days just because I'm not actually working there, so I think it fits perfectly. It's just a totally different month and everything, but you get the point. So let's say we were to plan a certain phases. So let's say for example, I don't know, let's say we were planning to set up some accounts or whatever. Honestly, I don't want to make it too specific because it's not going to apply to your situation anywhere when you're watching this. So you're just going to put your tasks here. So let's just say, for example, today I want to record record you know, and then you just like write all that stuff here. So for example, you want to record the YouTube videos, then maybe you have like 3 sales calls. You might as well like write the names here, like very simple stuff, maybe like create onboarding process. And honestly, you don't want to have that many tasks in your day. So actually, like probably when you have like 3 or 4, it's actually like enough. And when you're working on some really big thing and you don't have that much of maintenance tasks, ideally, obviously, just working on one thing a day, because the less you switch your tasks, the deeper your focus can be, and the more you're going to accomplish. Like basically, if you were having 2 tasks and both of them take 8 hours, usually, and you do. Then obviously you have multiple options to split this across 2 days. Let's say you work in 8 hours a day. The most logical option would just be to do the first task at the first day and the second task at the second day. But what a lot of people do is they just sort of multitask and do like 4 hours on the one day, and then 4 hours on the other day. But when you just do 8 hours on one day, for example, you'd be way more focused and you'd have way more context, and you'd actually be able to accomplish the tasks in like less than 8 hours. Just because you're working on one thing a day, if that makes sense. It's a bit complicated to explain, so I don't want to like bother you with that technical stuff for too long. But now when you have these tasks here and you know exactly what you are doing, then obviously it is about like when it's like Monday the 6th of February, April, then obviously you want to like plan what you're actually doing exactly in the even more micro level. And by the way, if there are things that you're doing every day, like literally every day, then obviously it doesn't make sense too much to like plan them here each and every day. So you can also just have like a note and say like default tasks, and then you just put like the duration of the tasks and maybe the order as well, and then you don't need to plan it again and again. And now obviously what you want to do is you want to get into Google Calendar. The reason why it's Google Calendar is because it's very simple to plan. Obviously, you might even like share stuff when you have Calendly. The appointments are automatically going to appear here, and you could just like plan with them, plan around them, and like move things around really quick. What I used to do in the past was just write down stuff basically in like a Google Doc, but it takes actually longer than just planning it in the calendar. So what you want to do, obviously, you're not like working that much probably. Maybe there are some people that are just nasty and they just want to work like 12 and a half hours a day. You can do that. But in my case, obviously, like if you want to have a life besides business to some degree, you might not want to have that much. And then obviously you just want to plan like the time where you actually work in at all. So let's just call this block work for creativity's sake. I don't know what happened here. And then we just make it in like some juicy green to make sure we actually want to work and to make work something good. Right, that you just put in here work, then maybe you have like a break for some time, then you work again till 5 p.m. or something. You can work more, you can work less, it depends on like a lot of factors, honestly. Obviously, if you work more, then you're going to accomplish more in the short term, but if you work too much, then you're going to accomplish less in the long term, because you just like take an energy from tomorrow, and at some point you're just going to find yourself actually being really unproductive per the hour that you're working, and then it doesn't make sense. So it's a bit, you need to figure this out for yourself, exactly like what volume is working the best. And obviously it depends on a lot of other like stressing factors in the rest of your life. So for example, when you're eating like 4,000 calories a day and you're bulking and you're getting to the gym, let's say like 6 days a week, obviously like working the same amount as someone that is not doing, that is eating like maintenance calories and not training and all of that, is more difficult than for the person that's not training, right? So obviously it depends a bit. But now that you have this stuff here and you know when to work, then you know, okay, you've got, 8.5 hours to accomplish these tasks. Maybe you've got some maintenance tasks, but now it's really, really simple. So obviously if you had sales calls, they'll just be scheduled here. So whatever, let's say one of these people schedules for this time. Obviously sales calls usually don't, like in the schedule, they're not taking that long. Let's just say it's like, obviously it will be like a real appointment and not what I'm doing here with the task. But you just put the task here. It's not going to annoy you with anything unless you have notifications turned on or something. Maybe you have like a second sales call here. Put that here. And then maybe you have like another, whatever, create onboarding process is another task. But let's say you have like another sales call around here. And then you just have it. And then you know exactly what to do. So basically now you know, okay, this is a fixed time. One of these three people might not even show up to the call. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You don't really know. And then you can basically, obviously, like record the videos, create the onboarding process. And what you then want to do is you want to take the task that is most emotionally draining, or not emotionally, like cognitively draining. You want to put that to the top, or generally speaking, you want to take the most important task that you have to the top, because when you have that at the top, obviously you're going to do it early in the day when you have less of your brain battery used up, and then obviously you can like achieve more for that task. So it's going to be high leverage to have, let's say for example, some deep like thing that you're working on, so some system or whatever should be more at the top. And like going on a coaching call, for example, whether you're the mentor or the other people, like you're a student from some other mentor, would be something that you'd rather want to have later in the day. Now obviously coaching call is pre-scheduled, but you get the point. Like the deeper stuff should be more at the beginning. So in this case, if I had to decide, I would honestly create the onboarding process first. So maybe that takes you 2 hours. And what you want to do as well when you're planning, you just want to like plan pessimistically. So you want to plan the onboarding process, like you want to plan in more time for the onboarding process than you think right now it will take. Because humans are really good at overestimating themselves. And the reason for that is because we in nature, when there's hard tasks that we need to do, then humans need some general optimism, because it just eliminates fear and it makes us think it's going to work so well and so like all is going to be easy. And the reason for that is obviously humans should be doing stuff to basically survive. But nowadays this doesn't make that much sense anymore because our environment has changed, and that's basically the same reason why people are always like they're always disappointed with like, oh, it's not as planned, like nothing is usually working as planned. And in order to get against that, we want to plan stuff basically in a way where we can see, okay, like we've got 2 hours. I usually would say it's just going to take me 1.5 hours or 1 hour. But when you're actually working on that task, you're going to see, oh, it's actually taking me longer. And the place where you want to get to, where I'm at usually right now, is you have a certain amount of tasks for the task, you have it planned for whatever reason, like in case something goes wrong. But then when you're actually going through the task, you're finished, like always you're finished like with the task a bit earlier than you're actually planning for. And then what can happen at the end of the day is just that you're going to be finished with everything. And then basically you can drag the tasks from the next day over to here and put them there as well. And then you might ask, like, Frederick, why don't we just like put more tasks in there initially? The reason for that is when we put a lot of tasks there, like it's way better to do it this way around than to basically have to delay a task to the next day. Because when you do that, you're basically telling your brain like the way that you're planning doesn't work, and it usually takes way longer than you actually think you're going to do, and that's going to make you slower unconsciously when actually doing the tasks, if that makes sense. Because when you're used to taking longer than what you planned for, and you plan another time for the next day, then you're probably going to take longer than what you planned for as well. So you don't want to stop getting used to that, and basically getting used to being quicker than what you planned for. A little bit, obviously. And yeah, that's basically how you do it. So you can probably imagine myself like writing everything else down here. I don't want to make this too complicated, but when you see that there's more space and basically you're already done, then you know that you can do more stuff in that day. So the way that people usually do it is they literally like say, today I want to achieve this, 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 and this, and then they do it, and then they say, wow, now it's done. But the thing is, like, different tasks have a different amount of time that they take up, and if a task is taking very long, then you don't want to be doing like if people are saying like, I'll always do the 3 most important things each day, it doesn't work like that. Because not like if you, let's say you're working 9 hours a day, not every task is taking exactly 3 hours. You cannot, it doesn't work that way. It just works in the way of how much time do you have, how much energy do you have, and when you have like when the tasks, as long as all of the tasks that you can do fit in the day, it works, right? And the point that I'm making is, when you see you've got 3 tasks but the day isn't full, obviously you want to add more tasks. And when you have 3 tasks and realize it doesn't fit in the day, then you want to put them onto the next day, because it doesn't, like, it's always to make sure that your day is being filled up and that you have the right amount of like high leverage work put in there to actually get you to your goal. And probably just like the last 5 minutes is going to save you so much time, because like a surprisingly low amount of people is actually thinking about this when they're trying to accomplish stuff. And this, like, if you're doing all of this, literally takes you like 10-15 minutes a day to plan this. And it's going to save you obviously way more than 15 minutes in the day, which is, by the way, like 15 minutes is this much. It's like as much as this, like these two things here at the top. It's going to take you this amount of time, and obviously when you're planning this, is it's very obvious that it's going to save you a lot more time than just that. Like even if you're taking 1 hour to plan, it would still be worth it, right? And then what you want to do once you have this is when you have the next day, like basically like Tuesday rolls around, you're here for the task. Obviously, like if I were to do this properly, obviously you'd have like onboarding process here at the top, then you'd have this other thing here and stuff like that. But when you're starting with the tasks, and for example, let's say the task takes 1 hour to do, or you plan 1 hour for the task, then what you want to do is you just want to do a timer. You literally just go to Google, search for timer, and then you just put in like the exact amount of time that you were planning for the task. And what this is, like the reason why this is specifically advantageous when you have this is you can just press play here, and then you can see in the tab here that the time is like basically going away, and you could just leave this open during the task and see, okay, now I'm getting less and less and less time. And what this does is just makes you aware, okay, I actually don't have that much time, and this makes you like remind yourself of how deep you should be getting with the task, because usually when people are doing something, they tend to get distracted a lot. And when you have a time, like a reasonable time that you were planning for connected to what you're doing, then you're going to be like each time there's something like you're getting off track for some reason, you're going to realize like, bro, like this doesn't fit here. And usually most things that take you off track, like 99.99% of things that take you off track, are not higher leverage than the task itself. Maybe that's a bit exaggerated, maybe it's just 99.5%, but it like just stay with your task. Don't do anything else. Don't message some random person because it's really important right now, like connecting, building that. No, just do your task, right? Like it's just do it like that. And then basically this is just how you go through the day. If you see that you've got like more time left, obviously you can plan new stuff like that you usually do from the next day, like non-maintenance stuff. Just put it in there as well, and then you can be happy because you probably just accomplished in one day what other people will take like from here to accomplish. Apart from the fact that this obviously the like from 2025 to 2026, and not that many people are probably working at this time in the year, but you get the point. So this is going to save you a huge amount of time. Let me delete all of this because obviously at these days I'm actually taking the days off, if you believe it or not. But I hope this could help you and basically show you like how planning something is extremely high leverage and will save you a lot of time, just because you can allocate everything properly. And you can see like, okay, this is the most important stuff, this is just maintenance stuff, let's put the maintenance stuff here, let's just not give us too much time for this maintenance stuff, because we want to spend more time on the things that actually move the needle and make the boat go faster, if you want to call it like that. And yeah, like if you use this, it's just a weapon. And I've also linked this war map here for the next year as a resource below this video in the description, so you can check that out as well. I think Google Calendar, you'll find it by yourself and figure out how to use it. I think you can do this by yourself. And obviously what you see here in the day as well, I've also planned like when am I sleeping, when am I getting up, like some routines that I'm having there, and also evening routine, just because like nobody can schedule there, nobody can schedule when you actually sleep and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just going to make it a lot simpler. And it's going to also drill in that habit a bit more, that you just want to get up and get to sleep at the same day at the same time every single day. It's just going to save you some time as well. And yeah, that's it with the video. If you've got any question, make sure to put it in the comments or ask me anywhere else in case you know me from anywhere else. And bye.